Welcome to the Rustic Garden. Today's June 20th and this is episode 8 of my community garden. We've had probably 10 days of just regular rain and storms, and what I learned about this area and some of the gardeners told me was a lot of the topsoil, the good earth, was cleared away years ago, like probably 20 years ago when this was made. So the healthier stuff was moved, lots of rain coming through, so nutrients are an issue for the garden, and I've been keeping up on that pretty well. I haven't done much in here besides maintaining it. I stopped spraying neem oil. I'm going to look at trying a new product in here called spinosad. What I want to show you real quick now is some of the diseases, talk about what I'm going to do, and then I'll show you the final outcome. We're also going to look at the harvest. There's a lot of stuff growing pretty well in here. I'm going to show you how that's going. I want to come over to the kale. It hasn't been sprayed for over 2 weeks with the neem oil, and you can see holes have returned to a lot of the plants, and that's from the white moth that I've talked about, the green cabbage looper, and probably, if I look around carefully enough, I'd find the worms in there. But these are plants that were doing pretty well with the neem oil. I've stopped it only for the sake of trying a new product. Cucumbers are doing pretty well. I had some die off. The burn damage that you see down at the bottom, that was caused by me by using too much soap. I've taken care of that, and they're recovering nicely. I looked under here earlier, and that's a stink bug. I'm sorry, that's a squash bug. They look similar. And one of the things you want to do when you go into your garden is start looking for the pests. So I'm going to take care of that now by just crushing it, and that's gone. But you want to look around, know what pests are showing up so you can figure out how to treat them. These are determinate tomatoes, doing really well. And here's one plant in here that is succumbing to leaf spot, maybe some other things, but leaf spot are really those little spots that are starting in there, and then they spread across the plant. This plant is going to die off soon. It sets most of its flowers, its fruit over a couple-week period of time, then they start to ripen and die off. I'm not so much worried about this plant dying from the diseases, but I don't want them to spread over. You can see in there, starting at the bottom, more of the leaf spots coming in. So these will get pruned, sprayed, but again, all those tomato plants are going to come out. Those are the main issues going on right now. Lots of stuff producing down in there. I'm going to set up my green beans, and if you have a choice between growing bush green beans and pole beans, I would recommend the pole beans. I find that they stay a little bit healthier, you get a lot more out of them, and they don't really take up as much space as you might think. I'm going to plant them right in there, build a trellis, show you what that looks like, and just work on the garden overall. I cleaned up the garden, did some pruning, and I set up the bean trellis, which I'll show you. I'm going to be using Captain Jack's Dead Bug, it's spinosad, as my organic way to control actually the bugs that are in the garden. A couple of mistakes that I made that I wanted to share is I went through my garden and pruned up my tomato plants, and I used scissors for most of them. This was what I did just before shooting this video. I thought I could just snap the branch off. When I did that, I just removed a whole section of the stem. So you certainly want to make sure you use scissors and cut off the branches when you're pruning your tomatoes and other plants. Here's my eggplant from the other video that was, devastated by flea beetles, and I use 7 dust or any kind of dust, and it's really taking care of this. And some of the eggplant are ready. They're going to be picked today and go, into some sort of dish I'm going to make. But all this is doing really well. I just added mulch down there. The other eggplant, that's starting to grow in there. Coming across this way, these are mostly the kales and stuff like that. And they do have lots of holes in them, but as I was taking care of the garden today, I mean, literally dozens of white moths have been over here. So this is going to be a tough area for controlling the green cabbage looper. There's one right there, moving along. Cucumbers got mulched. This is the bean trellis, and it's just 3 poles, some jute to start the string off. And I just lay my beans down just like that, spaced about, I don't know, 2 or 3 inches apart, it doesn't matter. And you push them down to about a depth of 1 inch, a little bit more. They all won't come up, and I probably will keep, 2 to 3 plants per section there. but I did extra just to make sure they sprout. You don't want to just put in one bean plant if you only want one, because if it doesn't come up, then you've wasted, you know, a good week or two. Put in more that you need and just thin them. These tomatoes were thinned out. They're the ones that have the leaf spot on them, and you can see it all right in there. These will all get sprayed this evening after the good pollinating bugs go away. I want to show you how well the peppers are doing. There's all kinds, and something that I learned, I was talking about in other videos. Here's a lot of peppers. The bells look good. Get in there, pepperoncini, the Greek ones, more peppers. The peppers in the containers are doing really well. The peppers in the ground, they're producing, you can see them, but they're so small. And you come over to the peppers over here, the ones in the bags, nice size. There's some Anaheims looking good. And then you come to the peppers right there, not as big. And these peppers that I'm showing you now were planted almost the exact same time as the container peppers. And the problem is that water sits about 12 inches below the surface, and the peppers just don't like it. So the raised containers seem to be the way to go to get a lot of the production. There's some poblanos. Some of those are ready. Back over there, long cayennes, looking good. Cucumbers, they're growing. That's my garlic. And here are my purple potato plants, and you can see I dug one out. You can see that I'm gonna have a lot of baby purple potatoes when these are done growing. Black cherry in the back, it's doing very well. Mulch that down. But things look pretty good. I'm learning a lot about this garden. Lots of water sit about a foot below the soil surface after rain, so it doesn't really bode well, I think, for certain plants going to the ground. But at the end of the season, that tells me I really do want to build up these raised beds and obviously make raised beds. So this is how things have been going as of June 20th. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please check out my blog at www.therusticgarden.blogspot.com and also check out my YouTube videos. Thanks.